We are the Muckletshoot Indian tribe. We are the descendants of Indian people who lived off the resources of our ancestral lands for generations beyond count. Throughout our history, we faced many challenges, but we never lost our ties to each other, to our land, or to our identity as a people. Know us. We are the Muckletshoot Indian tribe.
I'm Mike Jerry. My ancestors lived along the Green and White River watershed drainages. We hunted deer, elk, fished from the mountain headwaters down to the salt waters. I am Mike Jerry, proud son of Muckletshoot tribe.
The biggest and best in the Northwest.
This is what some people think of when they hear the name Muckletshoot, one of several tribal casinos in the Puget Sound region. But the Muckletshoot tribe is much more than a casino or a bingo hall. The tribe possesses a cultural identity and a political existence that predates the United States. In the 1850s, Muckletshoot ancestors negotiated and signed treaties with the United States. In those treaties, the tribe reserved rights as a sovereign nation.
Being recognized as a sovereign nation means that we have the right to govern ourselves. We have the right to decide what is best for our tribe.
We have the ability, just like the state of Washington, to establish our own laws, policies, and guidelines of how we operate our government.
The Muckletshoot tribe, as a nation, operates businesses, generating income to support tribal government. And that income funds a number of priorities born of the tribe's values and a sense of place. Among those priorities is buying back ancestral land integral to the tribe's self-sufficiency, essential to its natural resources, and critical to the Muckletshoot culture.
The Muckletshoot tribe has been in the area for generations, hundreds of years, thousands of years.
Muckletshoot ancestors fished, hunted, and gathered food throughout the greater Duwamish River watershed. They harvested resources from eastern Washington, across the crest of the Cascades westward to what is now Lake Washington, Lake Union, and into Puget Sound.
The Muckletshoot ancestors were the people who lived in the entire drainage system of the Duwamish White River system.
In those times, those bands were all the same people.
When asked to give up their lands and sign treaties with the U.S. government, the ancestors of the Muckletshoot faced an inevitable decision: accept the terms of the proffered treaties or refuse and hope for the best.
Those individuals that had to make decisions at that time what tribe they want to go to, it wasn't an easy decision. They did it to help protect their people and what was still left.
The native bands who resided along the Duwamish, Green, and White Rivers didn't call themselves Muckletshoot. They signed the treaties using the names of their village or native band affiliations. Then they waited for a reservation. When a portion of their ancestral homeland was finally set aside as a reservation, they were given an abandoned army post named Muckletshoot, located between the White and Green Rivers.
The government decided to name us Muckletshoot.
Although the tribe had a reservation, with virtually no roads, utilities, services, or work opportunities, life on the reservation was difficult.
Basic health educational services were minimal, if not non-existent, on this reservation.
We had no running water, no plumbing, no electricity, an outdoor toilet, and we packed our water from a stream that was near the house. We didn't go to doctors, we didn't go to hospitals. There were no jobs.
All our fish went to the family. We'd go deer hunting, that went for the family. And when my dad was out of work and we went to work on the farms, that went to the family until they got enough groceries.
In the early 20th century, virtually the entire Muckletshoot reservation was allotted to Muckletshoot families. Over the years, unemployment and poverty left many families with little choice. To live, they had to sell their land.
When we were young, our parents had plenty of land. They were tricked into selling the property for little or nothing. I remember that we used to get like a turkey every Thanksgiving as payment for some of our land.
By 1970, the Muckletshoot tribe's communally owned land on its reservation had dwindled to less than an acre. the site of the tribe's community center. Then, in one evening of flames, the community hall, the only tribally owned building on the reservation, was gone.
And the chimney is the only thing left of that building. The tribe had nothing at that time.
Atsil tabiuchal, swatiu tudchal, alti slache.
Despite the loss of land and natural resources that once formed the backbone of their world, the tribe persevered. When a federal court finally affirmed Muckleshoot treaty rights, the darkest days turned. Recognized as a sovereign government with rights to hunt, fish, and gather, the Muckleshoot built businesses to support tribal fishing fleets. Later, the Muckleshoot invested in gaming. Then came other diversified businesses, providing the income to improve living conditions and acquire the land needed for services, programs, and natural resource management.
So they're buying it back, turning it back into reservations, so we have a land base where we can do things so that they can have employment for the reservation.
Additionally, the land buyback bolsters and protects natural resources. The tribe has full-time biologists and provides funding for salmon hatcheries and rearing ponds.
Our tribe don't just go out and just start taking resources off the land and not do anything about it. We put back before we start taking, so it's always there for our future.
The land is tied to our heritage. The land means something to us. It's where we live. It's where we're going to stay. It's where we'll always be.
Atsil tabiuchal, sa iab tabchal.
My name is Marvin Starr, Sr. I was born and raised on the Muckleshoot Reservation. We hunted and fished. The salmon were very important to us because they were our life's blood. I am Marvin Starr, a proud son of the Muckleshoot Indian tribe.
The Muckleshoot Indian tribe is a thriving tribal community, centered on the Duwamish and Cedar Rivers, Lake Washington, and the Green and White River watersheds in Washington's King and Pierce counties. A sovereign government, the Muckleshoot Indian tribe's elected council, with the advice from a general council of all tribal members, manages income from its economic enterprises, such as the White River Amphitheater, Salish Lodge and Spa, and Emerald Downs Racetrack. The tribe uses their income as other governments use their tax revenues. This income funds utilities, education, health and human services. It also creates jobs and spending that support non-tribal residents and businesses in Washington state.
Yeah, the Muckleshoot tribe is the second largest employer in South King County. There's a lot of people that are not employed directly by the tribe, but are, influenced by the tribe's economic development activities.
The current success story of the Muckleshoot Indian tribe is, however, best understood by the past. It's a past of hard-fought battles to secure treaty rights, a past of promises unmet and promises redeemed through the life cycle of salmon.
Atsil tabiuchal, sa iab tabchal, olapid tuhak.
We're a people of the salmon, people of the water. We're a fishing-based people.
Long before the state of Washington was a state, before the U.S. federal government laid claim to their homelands, the ancestors of the Muckleshoot tribe ranged east, across the crest of the Cascade Mountains, and westward throughout creeks, rivers, and saltwater environments of Puget Sound.
All of these people depended not only on the various freshwater resources and land resources of the territory, but also the marine fisheries and the marine mammals and birds and so forth that were taken in the salt water.
The treaties guaranteed the tribal nation's sovereignty and self-governance, plus the right to fish, hunt, and gather in their usual and accustomed places.
Salmon was really important to the tribe. We didn't have that much fresh food, so that was what we lived on.
By the mid-1900s, the state increasingly cracked down on native fishermen. The state maintained its fishing regulations superseded tribal treaty rights and arrested Muckleshoot fishers and hunters trying to support their families.
When my dad and them would go fishing, they'd have to sneak out, and go fishing and fish in the middle of the night, and sneak around.
It was a difficult time for the tribe.
It's because the Indians lived off the land, but you can't live off the land if you have no rights to fish.
Tribes from around the region staged protests, asserting their rights defiantly and publicly, and they just as defiantly went to jail.
When a person gets arrested and brings it gets the case to court, then a decision needs to be made. When a person got arrested, it brought it to a decision place.
That decision place was a federal court where Judge George Bolt upheld treaty fishing rights. The Bolt decision said treaty tribes can fish at traditional places and are entitled to 50% of the catch.
I did extensive research that supported the claim of the Muckletshoot Indian tribe that it was descended from bands named in the treaty, clearly preserving their treaty rights.
It brought strength back to the men as providers and also as leaders.
They were able then to start selling their fish and become providers for the families.
These are just reaffirmations today of what we do. So why we can sell fireworks, why we can fish when we can fish, why we have a casino, why we can have an amphitheater and so forth. Those are our rights, and as a government and a tribe, as a nation, we make those decisions on what we can do here.